Greetings, shalom to you if you're a saint, and may the blessings of Yahweh continue to be multiplied to you if you are a saint. This is a wonderful day. It continues to be because the day started last evening according to Yahweh's timeline, and it continues to be a day that requires us to rejoice and to be glad. As you joined the broadcast this morning, would you be kind enough to let me know whether you can see clearly and hear clearly? I'm about to connect another microphone to this phone so you can hear me a little better. Shalom. Blessings and good morning. Let me know whether you can hear me clearly, please, and see clearly so that we can have this matter addressed this morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. While you've done so, can you as well, if you don't mind, share the broadcast with someone so that they can know that I'm here. Most persons say they do not receive notifications that I'm live. So please invite another person who you know normally follows these presentations. Okay, there's some patchiness to the video. That's fine. As long as you can hear me clearly, I'm fine with that. Thank you so much. I guess GT&T will wake up at some point. So I bid you all shalom and blessings. This broadcast today, of course, shalom Mama Megan, good to see you. Blessings to you, dear heart. This broadcast is usually going to cause, or maybe the rebroadcast, the wicked to arise, the heathens to arrive, and for them to totally demonstrate, which I'm happy, and that's the purpose of it, why Yahweh has said that this country is cursed. Guyana has got within it, and if you check the scripture, whenever the kings of Israel did wrong, Yahweh dealt with the nation of Israel. He preserves the righteous, but he does not fail to execute vengeance against the wicked. The actions of a leader have got telling consequences on those who agree with those actions, especially if there are people in a nation who are willing, as I'm seeing, and eager, as I'm seeing, to be supportive of that which is unlawful, that which is unjust, and that which is absolutely dishonest, you invite upon yourself significant consequences that you would not be prepared to deal with as a nation. The thing about Yahweh is that you do not have to know him to experience his hand of justice or mercy. Let me say that to you again. The thing about Yahweh is that you do not have to know him to experience his hand of justice or mercy. He said in scripture that he caused rain to fall on the just and on the unjust. People say that it's a sun god and it's a a rat or it's a whatever that give them rain. According to my conviction and my faith, Yahweh demonstrates to all kindness as he wills. However, the same God demonstrates to all justice as he wills. You don't have to know him to experience either of the two. This nation has got a significant record This country has got a significant record of wrongdoing. Somebody says chop you on their end. This broadcast is going to be crazy today, I guess. Regina, let me know when it's stabilized, please. There are persons who will live, and there are persons who will die. And they would experience during their lifetime the wrath of Yahweh and never know that it was that wrath. Because he does not owe you an introduction for you to experience his principles and his operation. He doesn't. He makes himself known to those whom he wills. He doesn't have to make himself known to everybody. On that premise, I shall speak to this nation yet again. Many aspects of this broadcast, shalom to you, my brother, shall include questions. And there'll be questions not because they do not know the answer, but questions to reveal the wickedness of people in this country called Guyana. And to show you how cronies function. To show you that cronies are afraid to speak the truth when the truth does not coincide with their desires. So they will know the truth. They will know exactly what was said. They'll know exactly what the answer is, but they will not answer according to the truth. Because if they answer according to the truth, then it affects their desire and the desired outcome. I'm speaking to Guyana's elections, of course. And what I realize in this country, what I realize in this nation is that our political leaders, let me start with you. You have led this country into a place of absolute chaos. According to Yahweh's word that I spoke to President David Arthur Granger since the 13th of March 2016, you cannot avoid the evidence. You cannot circumvent the truth. It is before your eyes. The truth is that since 2016, the president of this country was told exactly what will happen in 2020. And he's seeing it. He cannot avoid it. Those of you who despise me for whatever reason, you cannot avoid the truth. We're speaking to the matter here. You can call me whatever name you like, you choose. As I said, I'm not the kind who goes crying to mama because you call me a bad name. I'm saying to you, I challenge you to oppose the truth. Did I not say to you and this nation repeatedly since March, that if you enter into anything called a recount, which is beyond the law of this country, you shall have a situation where you will have to make up laws as you go along, because you cannot have laws to support what was called a recount then. Did I say that? Let me see how many cronies will begin to lie. Did I say to the president of this nation and the people of this nation, including GCOMs and everything else, that if you people go ahead with what you call this recount, that is found nowhere in the law, given the condition that surrounded it, you will have a situation in which, because you have no law supporting what you're doing, you'll have to create a law, and then you have to make up laws as you go along. Did I say that to this nation? And that you're going to have serious issues coming out of this recount? Because you don't have laws to support what you're doing. Did I say that to the president and to the people of Guyana? Thank you. Did I say that it serves Guyana well for the 7 commissioners, I'm calling the chairman of GCOM a commissioner as well, to come before this nation? I asked that over 15 or 20 times by now. Come before the people of Guyana. Sit as one group in one place at one time. Did I say all of you should sit and tell the people of this country what the laws are surrounding this election? What are the laws? So you won't have to fight one another. You won't have Vincent Alexander coming out first, then says Gunraj come after. Did I say that all of the commissioners should sit in one room and speak to the people? Did I say that? Good. The commissioners of GCOM never did that. because they know that if they do that, the people of this country, I told you, would become informed about the law. And they don't want that. What they want is for people to become uninformed and positioned on their camp or in their camp. So APNU AFC has got their commissioners, PPP Civic has got their commissioners, and the two sides do not intend to sit together before the people of this country and explain to us, with the chairman being present, what are the laws surrounding the elections in Guyana. So far, the two things that, and I'm continuing on the list now. Number one, I said do not enter anything called a recount, because you go into what is called a recount, you have no ability by law to support what you're doing. So you have to create some law to support what you do. The politicians began and the cronies began to say, well, the recount became legal. And I cited that terminology before. It became legal means it was illegal in the first place. So you have to create something to make it legal. And that is called the gazetted order. And in that order, because the order just governed the recount, it did not and cannot be compared to the Representation of the People Act. That's the law. It cannot be compared to the Constitution of Guyana, because that is an extensive document that deals quite clearly with electoral matters as well. But they didn't want that. Thirdly, did I say to this country, good morning all, did I say to this country, to the leaders of this country and others, that the blessings, that the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, the commissioners of the Guyana Elections Commission know exactly, I'm talking about March, I'm not talking about recount yet, know exactly what the law is concerning issues like with Mingo and those. And I'll speak to Mingo as well this morning, because I now have enough evidence to speak to it. Did I say to you and this nation that GCOM commissioners and the chair of GCOM, being a commissioner as well, have enough knowledge of the law to know exactly how to deal with this whole first, I call it the first phase issue in March of 14th and 11th and so on, with Mingo and the first declarations? Did I say to this country that according to Chief Justice Roxanne George, did I say to this nation that according to Chief Justice Roxanne George, she said to the PPP Civic, to APNU AFC, and to all parties in the room, that you have got to go back to the Ashman or wherever you go, Mingo, you will present or display to the people the numbers that you are calling in reference to the votes you're ascertaining. The second thing she said to them was, no one is to instruct Mingo so what he has to do and how he does it. However, she said that according to Article 84(2) of the Representation of the People Act, what you will do is, if you have an issue after the declarations are all made, you will file an election petition. Did I tell you that's what she said? Because she said it. Did the Chief Justice of this country, Roxanne George, say plainly to all parties, if you have a problem when Mingo is finished, you come before the court with an election petition? Did she say that? Because that's the law, by the way. So I'm not talking about recount. I'm talking the first phase. Did I say to you that that's the law? The Chief Justice agreed with what was said, because that's the law. You have an issue with what is being done, you have a problem, you have some gripe with what's happening, file an election petition. Is that what I told you? Yes. Did the Chief Justice say exactly what the law states? Yes. Did the Chief Justice advise them according to the law? Yes. But Guyana being Guyana, monitor for me, please, they are. Monitor the broadcast for me, please. But Guyana being what it is, And I understand, and it might sound strange to some of you, of course I want the PPP cronies and so on to come, and APNU FC cronies to come, not cronies, all you cronies can come in the broadcast and show the world how wicked you are. That's what I want to happen today. And I'm saying this, maybe I need to speak slowly for PPP Civic to hear me clearly. I understand fully why. Not I agree with, but I understand why you had an issue. In the first instance, saying, listen, you don't want to file any petition. And I'll tell you why I understand your position. Because you, in 2015, filed a petition that is yet to be heard. And APNU FC, you could be as mad as you want. If a political party files a petition since 2015 that is yet to be brought to the court and dealt with and have a matter addressed, you think that same party in 2020 is going to file another petition when in their head, hey, the first time we did this, nobody listened to us? Do you expect them to do that? Now, Okini Blair is a representative of the New United Guyana. He claims to be, or should be, on their higher rank, or in the higher ranks of leadership. So what I'll do, I'll ask Okini Blair a question, he will answer, and if he doesn't answer, then I'm forgetting. That's it. Okini Blair said that Mingo did not follow Chief Justice's orders. Okay, fine. If Mingo didn't follow Chief Justice's order, Mr. Okini Blair, you'll answer the question or you'll get off my broadcast, or I'll ignore you as if you're not on the broadcast. Did the Chief Justice tell all and sundry that if you have an issue at the end of all of this, when all 10 declarations are made and the decision is made by GCOM, they pronounce on the declaration, did the Chief Justice say you can return with an election report? Did the Chief Justice instruct that if anybody has an issue after they return, the parties that are aggrieved can file an election petition? Did the Chief Justice say that? That's what I want you to say. So if the PPP Civic can have an issue because they said that they would have filed a petition since 2015. They were not heard in 2015. There's no trial about the election of 2015. Then they're saying, listen, so why should we come back again and do the same thing? As I said, I understand their position because I would not think in any way that the APNU AFC, if they were in the position of PPP Civic, where they filed, Marie, good to see you, where they filed a petition in 2015. Let's say APNU lost, and they filed a petition in 2015. And in 2020, the petition hasn't been heard. Do you think that APNU AFC today would have said, yes, we filed another petition because after all, the court took 5 years to listen to us? No. That's okay, Lucky. Good to see you. So I can understand why the PPP Civic were upset and said, we don't intend to file any petition because our first petition since 2015, according to them, has not been heard. So we're not going this route again. If that's the case, you can ask questions if you do. If that's the case, then it's obvious that there was some failure along the way to hear an aggrieved party in an election. There's foul language on my broadcast? Okay, fine. Once I see them, they're gone. Shalom, Ron. Somebody said, I don't know why people keep saying the broadcast is being interrupted. Alana, they don't have to have respect for a man of God. No, they are. People generate respect based on what's within them. So if they don't have respect for me, it doesn't matter to me. They don't have to have respect for me. I'm not the kind of pastor who says you have to respect me as a man of God. Yahweh teaches the wicked lessons. I just said that. And some of them don't even know when he would have taught them the lesson. In 1997, the PNC reform had filed a petition. It took 4 years. Janet Jagan, I think, would have been already transitioned leadership to Jaglio, and that's when Justice Claudette Singh would have ruled that the elections were null and void. But look at when. So, given the nature of politics in this country, and given the nature of the judiciary in dealing with these matters, something is wrong. Because if you cannot understand the need for expeditiously dealing with matters of politics, especially given the nature of this country, every 5 years Guyanese, for the greater part, go crazy. Now, if you have an issue, please leave the broadcast and return so we can probably see how what happens. Pardon?
It never stopped breaking.
It never stopped up until now? Okay. So you have got enough evidence to support or to show that parties do not have confidence in the rate at which the judicial system works in this country. You cannot tell me you'll take 3 years and 4 years to deal with an electoral matter, and that makes sense. What I would say is that the Chief Justice, regarding the petition, the matter that was brought before her at Mingo, acted very, 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 very in an expeditious manner. She was pushing and pressing for matters to be dealt with as quickly as possible so this whole thing can be over with. And I commend her for that because it shows that there's hope. So here comes the Kinney Blair, acknowledging exactly what I've said. So let me just tell you, if you come on my broadcast using profane language, if you come on my broadcast speaking as if you're a retard and you're a dummy, I'll block you. This is not a time. This nation is going through too much me to tolerate stupid people. Maybe in another day, but not this one. So I'm warning you from now. Let me speak to, before I get to valid, I'm going to the valid votes part of it, but let me progress to that. I said, did I not say, all you on this broadcast, some of you follow me quite often and closely. Did I not say, and I'm asking you, the PPP Civic, who have had all the say that you're saying, did I not say on numerous occasions that the chair of GCOM, Claudette Singh, the commissioners of GCOM, the 6, have got all of the power to simply, I'm not talking about recount yet. Don't think about recount here. Think about the first issue. From March the 2nd or the 3rd to March 11th or 12th, thereabout. Did I not say that the Guyana Elections Commission, the chairman and the 6 other commissioners have got power to simply open or examine the statements of poll given to them by the presiding officers? The same thing should be given to Mingo. The same thing should be given to, by all 10, to GCOM. All the presiding officers, 800 or 2,000 plus of them, were supposed to submit the information to GCOM in terms of statements of poll. I said that GCOM can simply sit in a room at the commissioner's level, open the statements of poll envelope that they have, examine the numbers that they have. Let's talk about District 4 with Mingo now. Claremont Mingo. I said simply, you don't have to go to any recount. Sit in a room at the commissioner's level. Examine the statements of poll that you have. Examine Mingo's numbers. Then, if they do not coincide, bring Mingo to the room to tell you how we arrive at those numbers. I said that. I said it because I told you before. I don't have to sit and say Mingo is lying because I don't know what numbers he had before him. I have not had sight of all of the statements of poll. And I don't need to see them. And APNU FC does not have to present to you any statement of poll. There's no need for it if GCOM has it. Did I not say to this country that the commissioners, they know the law? The chairman knows the law, or she shouldn't be the chairman. She simply opens the envelope. Check the numbers that she has in reference to statement to poll. Bring Mingo to GCOM because Mingo is an employee of GCOM. He was employed by GCOM to do a particular task. This is the only country I'm beginning to realize where the employers cannot question employees. You people are a special kind of stupid in this country at that level. And I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to tolerate it as a Guyanese person. I will not accept that from any one of you. You cannot tell me that you employ somebody to do a job, and as the employer of the person, you can't question them based on their functionality. Which law said that? Akini Blair, I am happy that you do not have, and I hope you do not have, any position of leadership in this country. Because the way you're processing on this broadcast is extremely concerning to any normal thinking Guyanese. And that explains our political crisis, because when morons could simply get up and say, okay, then I'm going to a political party and people just vote for you, you are a part of the catastrophe that awaits Guyana. Because you cannot reason as a simple human being. I don't care whether APNU AFC did not present their SIP in the poll. That's not the point. They don't have to present anything to you. I just said it, that at the decision-making level, GCOM does not rely on APNU AFC SIP in the poll. You are stupid to say that. Because GCOM has got their statement in the poll given to them by presiding officers. They don't need to rely on APNU AFC, unless you're telling me that APNU AFC governs GCOM. Therefore, I shall proceed. And at this point, if you say anything else that is that stupid, I shall act as though you're not present on my broadcast. I said that the Guyana Elections Commission, they are given at the commissioner's level to the chairman, the secretariat. They have got every single statement of poll that was given to a political party, that would have been given to the returning officers. All of them are given to the GCOM headquarters. All. There's no statement of poll that's missing at GCOM headquarters. Did I not say to this country that all GCOM has to do, don't spend money on a recount. Don't go back to $300 million and whatever $1 million you spent on a recount. Let Claudette Singh call the commissioners in the office. Open the envelope that contains statements of poll, or the package. Put them on the table. Examine them. District 4 is a problem. If District 4 is a problem, examine District 4 numbers. And then bring Mingo to tell you how you arrive at the numbers he got. Did she do that? No. She never did it. She never examined Lowenfield's initial report. She never met to talk about it. And I'm waiting, and I have waited for quite a while for at least one person from APNU AFC. One. To say that you are confident that Mingo did what was right in reference to numerology. GCOM didn't have to spend money for the commissioners to meet. They didn't have to spend $100 million for the commissioners to sit in a room and say, Mingo, claimant Mingo, come to this office. You have presented these numbers to the Guyanese populace. These are the numbers we have from the statement of the poll. Give an account for the difference. That's all they had to do. They never did it because they never intended to do it. Claudette Singh, that is. What makes Mingo this angel? If he cannot give an account for numbers presented, he has to say the only thing that a returning officer, Mingo is a returning officer, the only thing that a returning officer can say is that these are the numbers given to me by the presiding officers. He cannot say I just fabricated them. I decided to check for myself. That doesn't work. The law is that the returning officers present to the presiding officers what are called statements of poll that the presiding officers would speak to and from. Sister Jan, good to see you, dear heart. So why is it? Why can't APNU AFC? You were so deliberate in scrutinizing everything except what happened with Mingo. Why are you doing that? How do you think Guyanese can have confidence in your being honest if you cannot tell us all that you witnessed a recount? You witnessed all of these different things. You witnessed the fact that there was an issue regarding a person, then call on GCOM to have a meeting to deal with Mingo's situation. So we have good ears to hear these birds in the background now. Why would you have a whole nation going through a whole lot of foolishness when commissions could meet and deal with Mingo in an instant? Get the point I'm making. What would it take? You telling me that Guyana is prepared and was prepared because he did it to go into a whole new procedure, have hundreds of millions of dollars spent on a recount that became legal when you could have simply sat at a commissioner's level and have a meeting to talk about this? What is happening in this country? Why couldn't Claudette Singh do what she knew was lawfully within her powers to do? And all you PPP civic supporters need to come back and tell me now that I support APN AFC and I support rigging, since you're that silly. You can do it now. Now, all of that happened. Claudette Singh again, as a chairman of GCOM, failed to act according to the law. Next. Did Claudette Singh ever once say that she is going to, I'm talking about, we're not at the recount yet, we're not going to the recount yet. Did Claudette Singh ever once say that she's going to accept all 10 declarations? I'm talking about in the first instant. They will then go to the CEO's report, which comes next. Because according to the law, the CEO advises the chair, and you remember that for a later further point in the broadcast. The CEO, the chief election officer, advises the chairman of GCOM as to what the results are. The chairman does not advise the chief election officer. The law is that the chief election officer advises the chairman as to what the results are, because he's the chief of the electoral process. Common sense should tell you that. Do you know what happened? Claudette Singh never once said, in the first phase, I call it 2 phases. Phase 1 is the initial issue. Phase 2 is the recount. So phase 1, the initial issue. Phase 2, the recount. All 10 declarations were made. Lowenfield submitted a report. And guess what? Claudette Singh never once said to anybody, you are free to file a petition. She never said that in phase 1. What she said is, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Let's have a recount. She entered into what is called an undertaking in law, which means she bound herself to do something. She never told APNU FC, you're free to file a petition. She never told the PPP Civic, you're free to file a petition. And every other neophyte party, you're free to file a petition if you have an issue after these declarations are made. She never did that in phase 1. She said, we're going back, or we're going to enter into recount. Do you understand that? Okay. So Claudette Singh, according to phase 2 now, knows that any party with an issue could file a petition. She never said that in phase 1. In phase 1, she entered into an agreement to go to a recount that had nothing supporting it in law. But suddenly in phase 2, she knows that anybody with an issue could go to the court and file a petition. But she couldn't do it at the beginning. The next thing is, David Granger being the president, did I not tell you all, did I not say to this country that the president and Barra Jagdeo, being the leader of the opposition, have absolutely no authority to say they want a recount, and it happened? Did I say that to you? That according to the law, the president of the country and Barra Jagdeo have no authority to simply say, let's have a recount, and it happens. Because a recount is determined by a party submitting a grievance to the returning officer, and that's on the local level. B, a party submitting grievance to the court of law. That's on the national level. How could David Granger and Barra Jagdeo decide, okay, let's have a recount? Based on what? Based on which law? How could Claudette Singh agree to enter into what is called an undertaking based on what law? In the absence of law, she can act? Did I not tell you? And now, last Friday, I think it was, David Granger, the president, admitted, or when he sat with the reporters, I may have, with bench cop, I may have gone a little beyond in agreeing to recount. That's what he said, because I was wrong until he said it. I may have overstepped a little bit. No, you didn't overstep a little bit, Mr. President. You acted beyond the ambits of law. You cannot, as a president, agree to do something that no law supports you in. And I'm frightened to think that we have a Minister of Legal Affairs, or an Attorney General as they called, and this happened. But on what ground can you agree to do something that the law doesn't support? Because if it were legal, nobody would be saying it became legal in reference to the recount. So the president agreed, the leader of the opposition agreed, because the leader of the opposition is smart enough to know that if you have no law to support you, then let's go in a place where there's no law to support you. Go ahead. So we're in a position whereby there's no law, and you agree to do something that the law doesn't support. So now we have to fabricate laws as we go along. Troy Christopher Cornelius, I'll try to help you if I can. I just said the term recount is not clear to many Guyanese. So I'm trying to help you this morning. The legal term recount regarding the Representation of the People Act speaks to a local recount in reference to the box in the room at the polling station. Then you can have recount at the level that is, again, regional, where the returning officer can decide, okay, then we're going to accept this or you're not going to accept it. However, sir, the recount that occurred on a national level, there is no provision for it because Granger and Jagdeo said, let's have a recount. It doesn't work like that. That comes by way of a petition, and the court decides whether there will be a recount. Now, I hope you understand me clearly. I hope it's a bit more clarified for you. Now you approach this called, or this act called a recount. What was the agreement? Maya Motley came, and the agreement was that they're going to have this activity engaged in so that every ballot can be accounted for. That is called credibility. Bernadette is asking a very important question. No, the president cannot make an executive decision. The law doesn't function like that, they heard. The law, an executive president is bound by the constitution of a country. Do you remember David Granger swore to uphold the constitution of Guyana? Correct. So he doesn't have a decision to be made outside of the constitution. You cannot make a decision as a president that is ultra vires the constitution or against the constitution. Executive doesn't mean the way you want. He holds the highest office in the nation, but he doesn't hold the power to override the constitution of the nation because he swore to uphold the constitution of Guyana. Okay? I understand the genuineness of the question. The president can't make an executive decision to do anything that breaks the law or is not guided by law. That's why he has what is called a minister of legal affairs. I hope I've clarified for you. They agreed. The agreement was that every ballot shall be accounted for, and that all of the ballot boxes, check the news now, would have to be guarded so that the contents therein would not be tampered with. What are the contents? What are the contents that they perceive would be in the ballot boxes? What? Can you tell me? Was it just paper with ticks and X's on it? Or would it have been everything that should be in the ballot box? If you're from the PPP Civic or APNI or C or A&M or ANA, wherever it is, whatever party you are, answer those questions as honestly as you can, or you're wicked and you're evil and you should not be in this country, period. You should be in a jail somewhere. You're asking another question. How is he breaking a law that doesn't exist? Because the law is to act beyond law is to break law, if you understand what I'm saying. For example, you can do something that's unlawful, meaning you don't have any law supporting your action. So it's unlawful for a president to agree to a recount. Why? Because he's breaking the law regarding how recounts are had. I hope I've clarified for you again. And I don't think I can answer every question you ask me for the sake of time. Maybe if you listen, you'll hear me by the end of the broadcast answer most of the questions you may have. All right, Bernadette agrees. The president can do something that's unlawful if he acts beyond the ambits or the confines of law. When I speak to there being no law, it means there's no guiding document to help them to tell them what to do. There's no law for a recount to be had because a president and leader of opposition say, we want to have recount. There is no such law, which is why I'm saying to you, madam, that they themselves said it became legal. I didn't say that. What does become legal mean? It means it didn't have a law before, and it was not legal before. So Troy Cornelius, you just answered my question yet again. It became legal, meaning it was not legal before. So the agreement I get to now is that you're going to examine the ballots to ensure that the ballots, when you put them together, every single one of them, the entire process once completed would be deemed credible. Now I'll speak to the recount. Now, because Claudette Singh, again being the chairman of GCOM, entered into what is called an agreement, a legally binding agreement now, to engage in this recount. So they created the laws, and that's what is called the gazetted order. The gazetted order is a legal document ordering all parties to be involved in this process. Okay, so they did it. Claudette Singh, by the way, apparently, as far as I know, if you're the chairman of GCOM, you'd better know the law. So Claudette Singh has agreed to enter into something that there's no law supporting it, but she agreed to it. Then they wrote laws to now make it legal. So we're going into the recount process now. In the recount process, Claudette Singh, Guyanese, if you're in this broadcast, I am not speaking to dead people voting. I'm not speaking to people who are overseas coming and say they voted. I'm not addressing that. Winston Noel asks a very important question. The court is not supposed to intervene in the actions of GCOM along the way. The court comes in after the process, and that's exactly my point. But they went to the court anyway. And Anil Nandlal did cite Article 140, and he admitted that the law is very clear. The court engages the electoral process when it's over. That's how a petition comes in. The court doesn't say, stop, you're doing something wrong, go back, fix this. No, the court doesn't do that. So let me proceed. Claudette Singh entered into agreement to do something that there's absolutely no law to support. As I said to you before, as a chairman, she should know that. But apparently she didn't. So she agreed to do it. Now they created the law. Now we have the law in process in place. The law, the gazetted order was very clear. That is why you have terms like observation report. So why would you have a term like an observation report if you're not observing anything? Now, one of you cronies can answer the question. Why would you have in a gazetted order instructions for there to be observation reports if you're simply taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers? What does that mean? Why? Why do you have an observation report based on a process if all you do is take out a ballot and say number 1, 2, 3 for PNC or APNLC, 10 for PPP Civic, 50 for APNLC, 2 for PPP Civic? You need an observation report for that? Do you need an observation report for something so simple, or you simply need a tabulation sheet? Where's a canny brain? Maybe you can talk now. Now you can speak. Why would you have an observation report as a part of a gazetted order if you're not observing what is in the ballot box and what happened? For what? Why did Phyllis Jordan and all these people sign the agreement? Why did they enter into this activity with observation reports being a part of the legal process? Why? For what? To what end? Now I am not speaking to any dead voter here. Don't come and broadcast me any dead people vote and Guyanese were overseas, because I'm saying to you, this part I'm approaching is about GCOM and GCOM alone. I have none to do with no dead people. In the agreement, you're supposed to have a report made. You're supposed to scrutinize every single ballot and the box therein or thereof. Every ballot. Sanchi does exactly the truth. Nandlal outsmarted all them, and that's why they shouldn't lead this country, period. So in this recount now that they would have had, I'm speaking to what GCOM has said. I'm not talking to what APNFC accused anybody of. I'm not talking to what PPP Civic accused anybody of. I'm speaking to what GCOM has admitted to. I am not speaking to what APNFC raised, what ANOG raised, what TNM raised, what PRP raised. I am not addressing that. I'm speaking to what GCOM admitted to. Can we have that understanding, please? Fine. The chairperson of GCOM was made aware and acknowledged. The commissioners of GCOM were made aware and acknowledged all that there were ballot boxes with absolutely no legal document in them. Am I right? Answer that, please. I'm not hearing any dead people. Did GCOM admit from the chairperson level to the commissioner's level that there were ballot boxes in Region 4 or District 4 with absolutely no legal document in it, only ballots. I guess you took a day off. Huh? You going to lunch now? The GCOM, I'm not talking to any dead people. I'm not speaking to any Guyanese being overseas and say they voted when they were overseas. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with your immigration issues. I am speaking to this. The GCOM at the chairperson level admit that there were 20 plus ballot boxes in District 4 that had absolutely no document in it to support the ballots. I hope some of you followed the news closely. Thank you. Good. So let's speak to what GCOM and the chairperson admitted to. I'm not speaking to any dead people. You know how many times I hear that? I'm speaking to what GCOM, the Guyana Elections Commission chairman and commissioners, accepted as fact and verified it to be so. They acknowledged all that there were boxes that had absolutely, I'm talking about nothing inside. They acknowledged that there were boxes that had no official list of electors called the pink list. All of them acknowledged that. They admitted, so we just work with these two for now. They acknowledged that A, you have boxes with absolutely nothing in it. B, there were boxes with absolutely no official list of electors in them. Fine. If the chairperson of GCOM acknowledged that, if the commissions of GCOM acknowledged that, can you tell me at GCOM's level, what are they supposed to do? Well, now we'll get to the discussion about valid votes. I will show you if you can, and hopefully you can read. I'll show you what the word valid in law means. Because according to Article 177 of the Constitution and Article 96 of the Representation of People Act, the term valid votes is the term that guides the chief election officer. Valid votes. What are valid? Let me see if you can read this. No, you can't see it? Okay, hold on. I'll turn my camera for you. Hopefully you get a chance to see it. Read this. What does the word valid mean in law? See that? This is from a legal dictionary, by the way. Valid means binding. Valid. I'm giving the meaning of the word valid right here. Possessing legal force or strength. Legally sufficient. A valid contract, for example, is one that has been executed in compliance with all the requisite legal formalities and is binding upon and enforceable by the individuals who executed it. You still can't see clearly? Oh boy. All right, well, I've tried. Have your mommy check with the person, please. Have your mother check with the individual. Well, I'll read for you. At least you saw I made an effort to show you what it is, okay? Valid means, according to law, possessing legal force, legally sufficient. It means a valid, for example, contract, good morning, baby, is one that has been executed in compliance with all prerequisite or all requisite legal formalities. So I tried to show you, but you didn't see. Okay? I tried my best to cause you to see it. Now, that's what valid means. all of the legally required formalities accompany that item. That is what valid means. This country that was once known as the most literate in the entire Caribbean region and among the most literate in the entire world, we were 98% literate in this country. You have got to a place whereby our people can simply open a document and read it in reference to a dictionary. What does valid mean? Now, what some of you can do for me, maybe Regina or somebody can do it. Search what valid means and post it here. Post it on this page. Valid means everything that's legally surrounding that act. Everything. Not one is left out, two is left out. Valid means you have to fulfill all of the required legal mandates, not desirable mandates. Legal mandates. Before that ballot is called valid. That's what it means. So therefore, Claudette Singh again, who's the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, when it was brought to their attention that their ballots without any accompanying legally required accompanying document, their boxes with absolutely nothing in them, Claudette Singh said, count it and record the number. This is what the chairman of GCOM did now. This is the chairman of GCOM. Count it. Record the number. Thank you. And according to what was reported, she said we will deal with that when we meet as commissioners. Claudette Singh and the GCOM at the commissioners level all admitted, all who came before the public, that there were boxes with nothing in them. And the chairwoman of GCOM admitted that there were boxes with nothing in them. The observation reports confirmed that there were boxes with nothing in them. And in this country, that's why I said this is a wicked nation. There are people who are saying that that which is legally required is no longer legally required. All that's required is ticks and X's, nothing else. Forget it, nothing else matters. Just put a ticks and X on a paper and that's all that's required by law. Really? According to the law, according to the agreement they made, every ballot must be validated. That is the law. Article 177 of the Constitution of Guyana is clear. The chief election officer can only make a determination based on what is valid. What does valid mean? It fits all of the requirements of law. All is the operative term. Not a few, not 50%, not 75%, not 95%. Every single requirement must be met for a ballot to be considered valid. Now let's speak to what requirements they present. I'll just speak to a few of them. Number one, identity of the voter. But not that yet. The credibility of the ballot itself. The paper itself. Can you pass me a little sheet of paper, please, there? Just something small. Or maybe something okay, thanks. The ballot. The ballot carries what is called a six-digit stamp. It has to be deemed authentic. Thank you, Rebecca, and others for posting on Marlin. That's good right there. Perfect. That's good. So we pretend it's a ballot in my hand. Okay? We pretend it's a ballot right here. You see this here? That's just a ballot. For this to be called valid, first of all, GCOM has to acknowledge it came from them. I don't mind what X you put. I don't mind what tick you put. The law is that GCOM validates this based on its authenticity. It cannot be counterfeit. It has to be valid. I guess a Connie Blair has gone to lunch. This, it begins with this. This has to be proven to be authentic. If GCOM picks this up and say, okay, then it has no 6-digit stamp, as they said, out the window, gone. Why? Because it's invalid. Claudette Singh had no issue with that. Because this right here is simple. APNU FC had no issue with it. PPP Civic had no issue with it. Because it's simple. If this is not an authentic document, it goes out the window. Gone. We're not even going to count that because it's rejected. Okay, fine. So the authenticity of the document, of the ballot, is key. Step 2, the identity of the voter is important. Or before I get to that, there's a stamp that must be on this ballot to prove the person voted. If the 6-digit stamp is not on it, forget it. So let's come to identity. The identity of the person. Because according to Guyana's law, every Guyanese of age votes once. No more. That's the law. But you have to prove you're Guyanese. You have to prove that you are who you say you are. If you have no document to prove it, then you swear by affidavit. You have an oath that you swear on your name that this is who I am. That has to be recorded in what's called a poll book. But let's not get to the poll book yet. So there's a record to show that you're Guyanese, that you are who you say you are, and you swear that you're who you say you are. So if you put a tick here, if one of these show up before you, at GCOM, there's a tick for APNU AFC. But there's no identity, this is illegal. Are you with me so far? Claudette Singh and others? If this shows up with a tick for PPP Civic, and there's no identity to go along with this, it is invalid. Because the identity of the voter is a part of law. Are you with me so far? This is sickening and disgusting because you let it, the last part we talked to, Guyana is headed to a failsafe because of our politicians, and this has to stop. For every ballot, there has to be an identity. Because the ballot comes from a person expressing the decision. The ballot must have an identity accompanying it. This go together. If I cannot find the person, you can't find a person, how you validate the ballot? How can you say this is valid if there's no accompanying identity to match it? What are the politicians, and forget politicians, what is GCOM doing to Guyana? What is Claudette Singh doing to this country? I don't care about APNU FC. I don't care about Pacific. I don't care about any one of your political parties because you are the problem. I kept telling you that from March 4th I said it. The political parties in this country are the problem. You would rather watch this country go down to nothing than to uphold the law. Both of you. If you do not have an identity, how can you say something is valid? What? By what means? So then, according to Claudette Singh, I can have 50 of these, or 500 of these, or 5,000 of these, or 10,000 of these, or 80,000 of these, with absolutely no identity, and Claudette Singh is saying that that should be entered into as valid. That's what Guyana has come to. That is what Guyana Elections Commission are doing to us as Guyanese people, and that's acceptable. Where is Akini Blair? Akani Blair? Come back. You leading Anag, you want Anag leaders to come and talk. And I'm seeing church people, and I'll call your name in the next broadcast that they have to do, supporting fully an unlawful and evil process. And you say you have Holy Spirit inside of you? Phyllis Jordan, her party, signed a document certifying the recount of District 4. To certify means that it has met every article of law's requirement. Phyllis Jordan, who saw that they tens of boxes with absolutely nothing supporting the ballots, said that the recount was lawful. The church lady, Madam Truth and Righteousness, number one, you've got to have an authentic ballot. We're speaking the validity of votes here. The validity. This has to be truthful and authentic in its nature. It then has to carry an accompanying identity. Every ballot matches an identity. Thirdly, there has to be an official list that says Nigel London voted at this particular polling station within his district or out of district. I have to swear, but I have to prove that I'm the district for whatever reason. But let's leave it in my district. I voted at a particular polling station. My name is crossed off by the officer in the room that I voted at that station because I have proven my identity. That is called the official list. It proves that every individual matches this ballot. I have been trained by GCOM, and some of you didn't know that. I told you before. I just didn't work. Years ago, I was trained by GCOM for I think it was 1997 election. So you can't come to me with garbage. And what was I trained to do by GCOM? Which hasn't changed. We were told about one watchword: procedure, procedure, procedure. Procedure, procedure, meaning don't miss any step. Procedure, like a pilot flying a plane. That's what GCOM trained us. Procedure, procedure, procedure. Don't overstep, don't miss. This comes first, that comes next, that comes next, that comes next. That is what we were trained to do by GCOM. Hello. So I'm not some acolyte somewhere. I'm speaking to you as somebody who was trained by the Guyana Elections Commission. Some of you didn't know that. Well, good. Now you'll find out. We were told, procedure, follow the law, follow the procedures of law. It starts with this, being authentic. This has to, when you show up before you get this in your hand, this must be proven to be who you are. This right here. Working for GCOM doesn't make me a politician. Somebody just said it, and I want to help you. And I will serve my country for the benefit of my country. But I ain't getting into your political garbage. Because I realize Guyana is going on a pathway by my children are going to suffer. So right now, I will serve my country as I've always done. To the benefit, and I'm serving Guyana now. That's what I'm doing. This, I'm serving you right now. When a person shows up to a polling station, this has to be proven first before you're given a ballot. If you can't prove this, but you want to fight, there's something called, I'll call it to explain to you, like a dummy ballot then. You give them something that just looks like a ballot paper, has everything in it, but it's not authentic. So you take it, then you put it and say, okay, then good. That one there is just a fake ballot because you couldn't prove who you are. But as long as you can prove who you are and you swear to your identity, then you give him one of these. That's authentic. Now the ballot goes into the ballot box. Because you've proven your identity, everybody in the room heard that you say who you are, and that's who you are, according to the folio and everything else that you have. Then you have got the marking on the official list to prove that you match this. Now, according to Claudette Singh, it's okay for people to go into an election station, a polling station, and look what you do. I'm Nigel London. Prove it. I can't prove it. Okay? Here's a valid ballot. Put your tick for APNU AFC. Put your tick for PPP Civic. Put your tick for PRP or wherever it is. And we'll authenticate this. This is valid because you didn't say who you are. There's no record to prove you say who you are. We have no sworn affidavit to say that you are Nigel London. We have nothing in our record to say who you are. But this is valid. That is what Claudette Singh is saying. I have an issue with that. I have a serious issue with it. And I have an issue because this, I'm saying to you again, you are establishing, did I not tell you that before? Before any recount, they said, Guyana, you're establishing a precedence here. You're establishing a position that you cannot live with in the future. If you're going to be illegal and unlawful in your conduct and throw the Constitution out the window, you're going to regret it in the future. I warned you about that. I warned you people that our leaders are taking us to a place whereby the Constitution is not to be respected. So we've spoken to at least 3 steps so far that validates a ballot. If you have no accompanying document in the ballot box to prove that this is valid, then the entire box is invalid. That is the law. But there's a new argument. The new argument is that the will of the people must not be disenfranchised. So you can't blame the people for what GCOM did. So if you have 5,000 boxes with no accompanying document, let us count them and call them authentic because the people mustn't suffer for GCOM. Is that what the law said? Is that what the law states? I tell you people who say I should run for president, I will jail half of them. Guyana will have very few people in it that are free. I'll jail you for being wicked. Some of you, I'll remember your actions and I'll bring you to justice. Don't ask for it. If ever Yahweh had told me to run this country or to vie for presidency, I would lock up half of the politicians I know. CARICOM sent a team here. And CARICOM team said that the elections are reasonably credible. And according to what I saw, they only observed 18% of the process. But 82% they missed. And they said it's reasonably credible. How do you have a chairman of GCOM that doesn't know what valid means? So now, they are sauntering between, or Claudette Singh is a ballerina now. She's performing a ballet between the Gazette, the Gazetted Order, the Representation of the People Act, the Constitution. And she's dancing around them all instead of saying, this is the law. How? How can you tell me as a chairman of GCOM that it is lawful for this to stand alone? When valid means that everything accompanying this must be lawful. What is wrong with you people in this country? Then we have a president who has opted to take the quiet approach because Claudette Singh has not spoken to the media extensively yet. In all of this chaos, Claudette Singh is like the president to some extent. You can't see them. They issue a once-a-month statement, and that's it. As the chairman of GCOM, come and tell us what the law is. Since you know but that what is invalid or what cannot be proven as valid, you know it acceptable in law, then come and tell us that then. As the chairman of GCOM, I'm asking Claudette Singh to come publicly and tell Guyana that everything that has no accompanying document is valid. Tell us that. Tell us that to our faces, please, on national television. I don't want any written statement from you. I want to see your face saying to Guyanese people that if a box has nothing in it that accompanies these ballots, it must be called valid. This is beyond ridiculous. Y'all have crossed some lines that I have never thought in my life I'll see crossed in this country. But Yahweh is faithful, because he said you see great confusion in this election. Great confusion, and I don't know which one of you could say that what I said was false, because if you don't call this confusion, I don't know what is. Let me help you. The CSEC exam, we call it CXC, is about to be written. Let me help some of y'all with this. Do you know that your child cannot sit any examination for CXC if they don't have a valid timetable? Now that's just an exam. In University of Guyana, do you know my daughter cannot write an exam if she doesn't have a valid identification? Student ID? You people crazy or what? What is happening with your GCOM? To sit in a university, this is not running the country here. This is a University of Guyana classroom or CSEC examination room. And you cannot write your exam if you don't have a valid document or a valid student ID. But Claudette Singh says that you can have a box with absolutely nothing in it. Just ticks and X's, and this is valid. According to what the news is presenting, that's what Claudette Singh is saying. Because I haven't heard Claudette Singh say anything by herself. So according to what the news is presenting to me, and what Vincent Alexander said, this is Claudette Singh's position. How? I need Claudette Singh to speak. As a Guyanese, I'm asking for Claudette Singh to speak to the public about what is a valid vote. Because if you move, and now we'll speak to petition. In phase 1, I said, Claudette Singh never said. Claudette Singh never once said to PPP Civic, you are free to file a petition. I will declare the 10, because 10 declarations were made, I shall receive Lowenfield's report, and if you have an issue with this report, then file a petition. She never told the PPP Civic that. Claudette Singh in phase 2, the recount now, is saying that she will rule according to the recount numbers, just mere numbers. And any party with an issue could file a petition. Really? Really, Madam Retired Justice? Really, Madam Chairperson? Is that what you'll do the second time around? Why didn't you do the first time? If on the first occasion you never said that people could file a petition, the second time, the first time nobody opened any ballot box. The first time, nobody checked and scrutinized every box to see what was in the box. The first time, nobody checked to see whether they were authentic ballots. Nobody checked to see if people had proof of identification and everything else. Nobody checked to see whether they were valid affidavits and oaths of affidavit. No. The second time, you have even more evidence that you admitted to. You, Madam Claudette Singh, admitted that there were many boxes without any document in them, and they should just be counted because you deal with it later. This is how you deal with it? Is this how you will deal with it later? Is this how you deal with the matter? In the first instant, you never said anything but election petition. But in the second instant, you want to have election petition? Farouk Mohammed, I guess you just woke up because I addressed Mingo earlier. But I guess you're just stupid enough to be here thinking I wouldn't address Mingo. How could you be the chairman of GCOM? And in the first instant, when all 10 declarations were made, you never said anything but the election petition. But in the second instance, when there is glaring reports that you admitted to, that bear the evidence, I am not talking about dead people voting, I'm not talking about migrant Guyanese who are saying they were here and they weren't here. I'm not speaking to that. I'm talking to what you admit at GCOM. At the Guyana Election Commission level, you admitted that there are boxes with nothing in it. And you call that credible. Now what you seek to do is, apparently, you don't want anything bad to happen to Guyana. So you're trying to make a decision that's in the best interest of Guyana, but it doesn't work like that. The law in Guyana is the law. And because most of you are afraid of these Europeans telling you you won't have visa and all the rest of it, that's your problem. Many decisions are made in this country right now that are based on fear. Not law. Many of your decisions are made based on fear and not the law. I am speaking to the law. The law requires that only votes that have all of the accompanying legal requirements are valid. That is the law. The law, Madam Chairperson, is that you at the GCOM level would have to first, through the chairperson, the CEO. Let me help you with this, because the language will be a bit confounding. The chairman of GCOM is advised to make a declaration by the CEO of GCOM. The chairman, as I said earlier, doesn't tell the CEO, this is what you're going to do. That is not the law. The law is that the CEO of GCOM, like Do Not Singh, Goku Buru, I think it is, right. You tell the chairman what the numbers are. Then the chairman simply declares your numbers. But we have a new system in Guyana, where if you don't agree with the CEO, you tell him to change numbers to suit what you want. You're not saying that you'll take the CEO number and whoever is aggrieved will go to file a petition. You tell the CEO to adjust the numbers in essence. I'm saying what the report is from Vincent Alexander and the others on the news. The CEO must work with just mere numbers from the recount as CARICOM wants and everybody else wants. And then if APNI FC has a problem, they file a petition. Is that what the law states? And I'm telling you all, I do not care about APNI FC. I will never support them because their policies are contradictory and absolutely in opposition to my conviction as a man and my Father in heaven. You can't tell me I support a party to hear the president say respect two men engaged in buggery. Never will I support APNI FC until David Granger can change that, or PPP Civic, or any one of y'all. You will not have my support if you threaten the well-being of my children. So let that be written in stone. I will never support APNI FC, but I will not support illegality. I'm not defending APNI FC here. I will never support a president who is prepared to have my son's future jeopardized because he wants to be politically correct. And tell me the LGBTQ, Nicolette Henry, that LGBTQ is normal and that's the president's position, the government position. The Minister of Education tells me and the country that the government position is that my son can be a transgender and that's normal. Are you people crazy? And I must support APNI FC for what? I will never support y'all. But I would not sit back and watch the law be broken because I have an issue with you. But PPP Civic can't hear that. PPP cronies didn't hear what I just said. You cronies will never hear what I just said. You'll hear that I'm supporting APNI FC. That's how stupid you are. I will never, I repeat, never in my life support David Granger because he said, unless he changes his speech, that he's prepared to respect adults engaged in his behavior. Then his Minister of Education said that children in our school could be LGBTQ. So let's get it straight. Let me make this straight to y'all. I don't support APNI FC. But I'm not going to sit here and have the chairman of GCOM do this foolishness. This is not happening. I refuse to have another day go by for you to insult me like this. Let's deal with the law. The law is clear. The law is pellucid. The law mandates. The law requires. The law binds the CEO to making a pronouncement on votes that are valid and nothing else. Go, baby. Go to mommy. It's fine. That's it. That is the law. Mary, get a door for baby brother, please. That is the law. If you want to fight me because I'm saying you must support the law, then fight me. But I'm not going to fight. If you want to go to the street and march and all the rest of it, tell me what the law is. I don't fight for party. I'm dealing with the law. If we're not going to accept what is lawful, then let's forget it. This is not about my supporting David Granger. I will never endorse him. His position is contradictory. It's against. It is absolutely abominable regarding LGBT nonsense. The Minister of Education, Nicholas Henry, has made a mockery of me as a man, as a father, to tell me to my face that she should be paid to defend students in school being lesbian and homosexual and I must support you all. Never in my life will I support you. Never. But I will not sit back and have somebody seek to railroad Guyana into being an unlawful, failed state. Because if we want to do this, then you police officers don't stop me and ask me anything about my document in any car. If the government could break the law, if the PPP could want to break the law, if Claudette Singh could break the law, then don't tell me about law. Let's become a failed economy, a failed state then. Do what you want. Because there's no way that you as politicians could do this foolishness and I can't do it too. Don't ask me for any valid driver's license. Get out of here. Because if votes can be valid based on just a tick and an X, then don't ask me for valid license. Forget it. Claudette Singh is failing us as the chief of GCOM. Claudette Singh is failing us as the chairman of GCOM. She has failed the chairwoman. She has failed to come to Guyana and speak the truth publicly. And her last act, asking me, Lowenfield, to go back and work with numbers according to what was reported, is absolutely atrocious. And I'm calling on all of you who are right-minded, sound-minded individuals to understand what is facing your country. My final point to you is Guyana being a failed state or becoming one. These politicians will dance and dance and dance until the economy becomes crumbling or comes crumbling down before your face. They're going to play around in court and this one files and this one counter files and all the rest of it. And then eventually, Guyana will become, if you're not careful, a failed state. Meaning that your president cannot control the country, your law enforcement cannot control the country, your economy collapses. Guess what, Guyana? When all that happens, the international community would come in to help us to govern our country. And that's exactly what the Europeans want. Because your oil is too much for you all to understand. After all, little Guyanese people don't have the mind to understand how much wealth they have. That's what Cyril Lynn said. That we don't understand how much wealth we have. You know what I mean? That we can't handle the wealth that we have. So if you can't handle the wealth that you have, we have to come and help you all to govern your country because you can't understand it. Do you remember that Hillary Clinton invited Raphael Trotman, or the government and the Senator Raphael Trotman, to Washington to teach him how to handle wealth? You all forget that, huh? You forget that the Americans invited Guyana, Raphael Trotman went, to teach us how to handle wealth when they are in debt. I don't forget these things. I do not forget. So as far as they're concerned, we are not capable of managing, and these politicians are helping. Because they're showing the world that we cannot manage our own affairs, and we cannot be honest enough and upright to deal with things as they should be dealt with. And I'm asking even the judiciary, you have to act in a manner that's responsible. As I said, I commend the Chief Justice. Her actions were expeditious, although they were beyond the Constitution in that she shouldn't have interfered in the process of the GCOM. But at least she did what was expeditious. She acted quickly. And I would trust, and I know, that the Chief Justice, Roxanne George, is not going to have petition before her and play around with it. Not in this state. Not in this country. And not with what's happening here. Because in this argument, it is simple. You cannot invent a law to say that no voter must be disenfranchised, so it doesn't matter what GCOM does. If there's no evidence to support the document, to accompany these ballots here, it's valid, because the question then becomes who voted. How can you tell me that something with no official list to say who voted is a valid vote? Because it has 6-digit stamp? So is it possible for me to put 6-digit stamp on something and just have one person vote 10 times? Where's the Kenny Blair? He went out, huh? Where's the ANAG secretary, wherever he is? Can one person vote twice and have authentic stamps on it? Yes. That's why you have to have an official list in the box to say what happened. Claudette Singh, we're asking you to make an appearance and speak to us as to what you call valid. Since what Learnfee called valid is not valid, you come and tell us what is valid. And what will happen is, the politicians, I say again, regardless of the state of Guyana, the politicians who are parliamentarians and who are ministers in government will continue to receive their salary or their benefits, which includes their pension. While you Guyanese and us as Guyanese, I will never struggle. The scripture says, I was young, David said, David said, and I was old. I was never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. I will never struggle in this country. Never will I suffer in Guyana. Never in my life, no matter where I am in this world, will I suffer. But I'm saying to you, there are people at this time who are indeed struggling to make it. And the politicians will continue to receive. Jagdeo will continue to receive $1.something million a month in pension. Granger will receive the same thing. Nagamutu will receive his pension as Prime Minister. Sam Hines will receive his pension as President. $1+ million a month we have to find from taxpayers' money. Donald Ramatar will receive his money. So when you watch them and you want to go to the street and support them in the foolishness, just remember that when this country fails, or should this country enter what is called a failed state status, you suffer, they still benefit. You will still have to pay taxes that they'll benefit from, because they'll ensure you pay taxes that they won't suffer. So keep playing around with these people. But I've had to come today because I will never sit back. As much as I will never support the apnea of sleep because of the position on this LGBT nonsense and all the rest of it, I will not support the PPC because they are not, in my view, upright and honest in their dealings in reference to these matters here. I will not support y'all. I will not support anyone, even neophyte parties, because you are just the same. You would sit back and watch a country crumble. But Yahweh's word must come to pass. Yahweh's word must come to pass. There is going to be great confusion, because when you have dishonest people holding political offices, you can only have this as a result. I thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your joining me today. And I hope that I've been as clear as I should have been. And that Claudette Singh can find the fortitude, the strength, and the courage to tell exactly what her position is. But I doubt she can. We want to hear from the chairman of GCOM what defines a valid vote. Tell us that. Claudette Singh, we are asking you as Guyanese people to tell us what is a valid vote. What validates a vote? Thank you so much, Daddy. I appreciate it. And my father, who just commented Era London, has taught me to be an honest, upright, and integral person. I will never support that which is unjust. I don't care who it is. It could be my worst enemy being treated unjustly. I will defend you because I'm not going to support that. If the PPP were in power and Claudette Singh was doing this to them, I'll do the same thing because you're not going to do that. You are not going to do this. There's no way I'm going to sit as a Guyanese and watch you break the law and think it's okay. I'm not going to do this. You heard me say to the Apnea FC, how could you be happy to accept that you've won and now based in the same process, you want to quash the whole process? Well, the argument is that you said you discovered things that were not right. But when you quash all of this right here, who will trust you when you keep bobbing and weaving so much? You cannot talk to Mingo's action yet. Because Mingo has to prove, and I said I was leaving, but Mingo has to prove that he would have had statements of poll from every polling agent, every presiding officer that suits his numbers. That's what he has to prove. And I must say as I leave you, I remember this now. If it's declared that PPP Civic wins or Apnea FC wins, let me make this clear to you all. I don't want any politician shaking hand and say, okay, then right, let's forget about all things happening in the election and move on. Not this time. Not this time. I am asking as a Guyanese for a thorough, immediate investigation into the actions surrounding this election. I don't want y'all shaking the hand and tell me to forget it. All right, let's move forward to build Guyana. I don't want that from y'all. I don't want to hear that from you at any time until the court is engaged to deal with this matter. And the police are engaged to deal with this. I don't want no shake hand here and say, okay, Guyanese, well, we had a hard fight, let's forget it and move on. No! Whoever is president, your immediate duty should be, if you're honest, to deal with this matter. I don't want no shake hand. No shaking of hands and let's come on, Guyanese, let's forget it to move forward. No, it's not happening. No. Because too much has happened for me to think this is just this. You could just brush this away because you finally get power. This is not happening. And the immunity from prosecution must be removed from the president. I need that to be done instantly as a Guyanese. Because if the president's involved in this, he must be prosecuted too. I don't care who you are. I don't mind what position you hold. All Guyanese must be subject to the Constitution and prosecution if you break it. And prosecution. So don't bring this immunity prosecution nonsense to me. If you're serious about business in Guyana, let's do business the right way. So thank you so much again. Goodbye. And I was happy to spend this time with you all.